the Jacksonville Jaguars. Doug Peterson and Trevor Lawrence, Doug Peterson's first year last year as head coach, took the team from a 3-win team to a 9-win team. They were first in the division. They lost in the divisional round. Point differential was only 54, which is not great at all. But Trevor Lawrence is looking at a top 10 offense. The defense was at the middle of the pack, probably a little bit below average. Hoping the defense steps up, but they did, despite not having a true number one receiver last year. True number one. Like, they had a solid receiver corps. But Trevor Lawrence is going to get a big upgrade in Calvin Ridley. Remember, Calvin Ridley was suspended for 1 season for gambling for games. So as long as he doesn't gamble, the Jaguars should be fine, right? They should be fine, because I think with Calvin Ridley, the Jaguars could go from a top 10 offense to a top 5 offense, or at least in the top 5, and possibly be one of the best 2 punches, Lawrence and Ridley, in the NFL. Remember, Ridley was a high target pick. I think he went to Alabama. He was when he got drafted to the Falcons. This guy was a high pick. He was supposed to be one of the next great wide receivers, and then I think injuries or gambling, all this kind of stuff happened. He got traded, and remember, it was supposed to be him and Julio Jones was supposed to run Atlanta for the next 5, 6, 7 years, but it didn't work out that way. So now he's in Jacksonville. He'll get a fresh start, and I fully expect Trevor Lawrence to take advantage of Calvin Ridley as to get the Jaguars to a top 5 offense, right? So let's get to the schedule, shall we? Let's see. Boom. Right there, we got... Now, I've already got Jaguars sweeping the division. If you already followed the other 3 teams we did, Jaguars sweep the division. They got 6 wins already. Just off of GP, we gave Jaguars 6 wins, and actually I got them 8 wins in, if you've been following the schedule from the beginning, because we doing this in 2 breakups. You're going to see clips of each division posted on Sports Day TV, and also the full complete schedule breakdown will be on Gridiron Steady. So if you're watching this on Gridiron Steady, you already would know that the Jaguars are already 8 wins in before we even do the schedule fully. So let's do the schedule. Week 1 at Indianapolis. Indianapolis. This is going to be a win for the Jaguars. They're going to go into the Colts house. The house that... Isn't the house that Peyton Manning built? Or Andrew Luck built? Or something like that? Whatever. But the Jaguars will go in there when Trevor Lawrence will go in there and get the W. We definitely see that happening. Week 2 home opener against the Kansas City Chiefs. Oh boy, this is the game of the year. This probably should have been a week 1 matchup, to be honest. But I get it. It's the NFL. They do what they want. Week 1 home opener at home. Jacksonville hosting Patty Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. And I think this is the year Kansas City will get a rude awakening. Trust me, you'll have to wait and see what I have in store for the Kansas City Chiefs. But I think now there is rumors that the Chiefs are out there trying to get Jonathan Taylor. So if they do pick up Taylor, this may change a little different dynamics. But for now, I'm giving the Jaguars the W. They're going to go 2-0 heading to week 3 against Houston Texans. And how favorable is the Jaguars schedule? Despite the fact that they are the division champs, they have a playoff team, a top 10 offense last season, and they have a favorable schedule. Their first 5 weeks, 5 of their first 6 weeks is at home. Well, not really at home, but they have those weird neutral locations. And then plus the Colts kind of like a win anyway. And they have a very favorable schedule. So they're 3-0. They beat the Texans. Week 4 at home not at home, but on ESPN, they play the Atlanta Falcons. I'm going to give the Jaguars... Ooh, this is going to be a tight one. It's a neutral location, so I'm willing to submit here and say that the Jags will probably lose. They'll snap their 3-game losing streak. They'll go to 3-1. It'll be a tight game against the Falcons. They're the better team, but the Falcons somehow pulled it out. You know how it goes in the NFL. Usually it's these weird games where, especially early on in the season, where teams unexpectedly get the victory, and Falcons will be one of those teams. It's an 8:30 in the morning game. Anything can go. How that is. Then they got back-to-back. 7 days later, they have another 8:30 a.m. game on a neutral location. This time it's against the Buffalo Bills, but this time this will affect the Bills because Jaguars have been used to it already. They did it the week before. So they will beat the Bills, go to 4-1 on the season, as the Bills are going to be struggling a bit. Week 6, home against the Colts. This is where they sweep the Colts, the season series. They go now to 5-1 on the season. So the Jackson Jaguars are going to be cooking in the first 6 weeks. Week 7 at New Orleans on Prime Video in front of whoever has Prime. They will. I think they're going to go into New Orleans and win that game, to be honest. I can give Jaguars a win there. 6-1, hottest team in football going into week 8 at Pittsburgh on CBS, 1 o'clock game. The Pittsburgh Steelers in Pittsburgh. Now, this is going to be a big game because TJ Watt may have a day. He may feast on the Jacksonville Jaguars offensive line. He may feast. And I think this is one of the games where Steelers will feast on Lawrence and bring them back to reality a bit. Say, hey, slow down there, guy. You ain't ready yet. We're not going to anoint you yet. Mike Tomlin got a game plan ready for Trevor Lawrence. And I think it'll be a close game. The Steelers will pull it out. And I'm going to give the L here to the Jaguars. But no panic, Jag fans. No panic. You go into the bye week. You'll be 6-2. Not a big deal. You would love to have gotten that win. But it was on the road. Hey, it is what it is. You get a bye week in week 9. And then week 10, you head home. You're hosting the San Francisco 49ers and Brock Purdy. Whoever's starting by then is week 10. It could be Purdy. It could be Lance. It could be whoever. But the San Francisco 49ers they're no match for you guys. And they're going to lose. So we're giving the Jaguars a win there. 7-2. Heading into week 11 at home against Tennessee. 8-2. That's a W. Then at Houston, 9-2 now. Going into week 13 on ESPN. Monday Night Football. 9-2. Jags taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. This is going to be the game of the year, potentially. Lawrence versus Burrow. This is going to be a shootout at Jacksonville. Who gets the W? I'm going to say tough, man. I don't know. I'm going to have to flip a coin for this. We got a coin? Let me see. I'm going to flip a coin. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to flip a coin on this game because this is a tough one, guys. Get the quarter right here. It's a flip a coin to see who gets the W. I'm going to flip a coin. Heads for the home team, that will be the Jacksonville Jaguars. Tails for the Cincinnati Bengals, the road team. So I'm gonna start off on heads. Here we go. Everybody says it is tails. Let's show the people so they don't think I'm lying. Tails. We giving it to the Cincinnati Bengals. Will get the upset in Jacksonville. Not really upset because the Bengals are a good team. So Monday Night Football, Joe Burrow pulls it out, and the Jaguars, not a big deal. That's only the 3rd loss of the year going into Week 14. It's still a great season for the Jaguars so far. Still a great year, but they got Week 14. They got to go to Cleveland and take on the Cleveland Shits at 1 o'clock on CBS. Deshaun Watson, if he's still available, or did he get suspended again for massages? We don't know. But I'm going to say 1 o'clock game. I'm going to say the Cleveland Browns get a victory here, guys. Sorry to say it. Jaguars are going to face a 2-game losing streak. Somehow, the Cleveland will pull out the win at home. But they come back home, the Jaguars, and they face Lamar overrated Jackson on December 17th. And the Jaguars will beat the Ravens at home to get their 10th win. That'll be their 10th win of the season. 10-4, heading into Tampa, where they'll beat Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay might be the worst team in football this year. One of the worst teams. 11 wins. Then they go to host the Carolina Panthers. That's going to be another W. 12 wins And then the Tennessee Titans in week 18, 13 wins. That's right, folks. The Jacksonville Jaguars will be a 13-win team this year. 13-4. They win the division by a mile. They sweep the division, matter of fact. And this is the high point. I talked about this in other breakdowns and previews, that for a team that's considered really good, we go scenario. And for teams that may be mediocre or bad, we have worst case scenario. But this is Jaguars' best case scenario, 13-4. Now we want to go what's kind of likely to happen. They're probably more so in the 11 to 10, 11 win range, right? You look at the schedule, you can switch a couple games around. Like say week 2, for example, they could totally lose that game to Kansas City. That's definitely a losable game. It's the Chiefs, right? Week 5 against Buffalo. Could Buffalo go into Jacksonville and win that game? Yeah, possibly. And what other games? So those are 2 right there that they can definitely lose, right? But we're giving them the W, the benefit of the doubt. We're tipping the scales their way. So when you look at it like that, then you look at it, like I said, Baltimore possibly, but they're at home. And they could definitely lose a division game or 2 as well, right? It's not a guarantee they'll sweep the division. Like, really? Everything has to go perfect for that to happen. But I'm sticking to my prediction. 13-4 will be a prediction for the Jacksonville Jaguars for 2023-24 season. So congratulations, Jaguars will be the division champs. They'll probably be a top 2 seed, maybe be the number 1 seed. Probably not. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. But they'll definitely be a top 2 seed. 13 wins will probably get them a top 2 seed, if not the number 1 seed. But could you imagine Trevor Lawrence? He would have to be in the MVP conversation for sure if this happens.